So I was just listening to NBC Now streaming news. The newscaster referred to autism disorder as a disorder. I guess because, they're reporting on an alleged link between autism and pregnant women taking Tylenol, blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to give my specific thoughts on that. However, I don't like that they used that phrase, autism disorder. Autism is, someone that's neurodivergent. There's a spectrum there. A lot of people throw around spectrum, the phrase spectrum, and a lot of people now are saying, oh, they're on the spectrum, or I'm on the spectrum, or blah, 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 blah. Which to me, it's almost like it's like a bandwagon or a trend thing. But honestly, autism itself is being neurologically atypical if you fall into, diagnostic characteristics that would classify you as being on the spectrum. But to say it's a disorder, to me, is a slap in the face to the neurodivergent community. I think there's a lot of Aspies out there. I may be one myself, who knows. But I've met people in my lifetime, quite a few, that were Aspies, that to say they had a disorder would be a slap in the face. People with PhDs that had families and jobs and all that stuff, were responsible members of the community. I think it's, there are subtypes, like if you are a specific, functioning on a specific level on the spectrum, where your IQ is lower, or you're much more easily overstimulated, that would be a disorder. But to just lump everyone under the same umbrella and say, oh, autism is a disorder. Somebody years ago threw out a theory to me that autism is a form of evolution. Think about the old original TV series, Star Trek. Mr. Spock would fall into the category of being on the spectrum. He was very logical. He really wasn't emotional. He was very scientific, blah, blah, blah. And imagine a community, a country, or even a world where everyone or many people were like Mr. Spock. He was so logical, he wouldn't believe in war. He would probably have invented a way to cure cancer and other diseases. He probably would have like a lot of pacifism, because war is not logical. He would probably, people like that would invent ways that we could farm our land and have resources with minerals and everything without contaminating the planet, and, ways to undo all the damage that's been done so far. And it's evolution. This person said to me, it's evolution, but it hasn't quite gotten itself straightened out. It's not quite yet correct or right, which makes a lot of sense, because in the evolutionary process, you will have certain species or animals or whatever that come into existence, mutations, but they don't really take off because they didn't, and then like the next series of mutations happens, and then you've got a more cohesive entity. No, entity sounds spiritual. More sentient being. So I don't really like, and I resent that phrase that woman just said. I don't know the name of the newscaster, but autism disorder. I know she was just probably quoting what was put on the teleprompter. But I don't believe autism is a disorder. One of the most beautifully brilliant women I ever knew was on the spectrum, a beautiful young lady. I don't think it's giving away her identity. She lived in the Boston area. Just so brilliant and so thinking so out of the box that I think any man had a hard time relating to her, or most men. And I've known men that were Aspies, very educated, and maybe they were a little strange, a little bit like Sheldon from The Big Bang Theory, or a little less like Sheldon, but I wouldn't consider Sheldon as a disorder. I didn't watch The Big Bang Theory that much, but some of the things Sheldon said, while we initially laughed at it, made a lot of sense. Like, he liked a certain spot on the couch, and he gave his reasons, and he was being honest. He was being very transparent. I like sitting on the spot of the couch because, A, B, C, and D. I don't see anything wrong with that. So, anyway, I would like anyone who's listening to think about it. Autism in of itself is not a disorder. Do you agree or disagree? And if so, please drop your opinion in the comments. All right. Have a great day, everyone. Bye.